see you. Yeah.
In fact, it was here.
Yeah, it was here.
It was here.
It was here, yeah.
I can't remember your name.
I'm Chris.
Chris.
Nice to meet you.
You guys should listen to my radio show or listen to the network. Yeah, about 8 months now.
Okay.
Here. I'm Lark. You'll find me. Just go to the website. My show is every Saturday from 2 to 3.
Okay.
But we talk about what I call religio philosophy. You may enjoy it.
Hey,
Here we go.
can I get a statement from you?
Nice talking to you.
Okay. Nice meeting you
We can
too.
continue if you'd like. But
Sure,
otherwise,
sure. I'm digging what you're saying. I mean, this is knowledge that I'm not necessarily prone to.
You know I'm on a roll. You know how I can't shut up.
That's why
I could smoke since you're not filming me, right?
Yeah, you can smoke anywhere.
Let me tell you about this word eupraxiphy. It is a word. It was coined by a gentleman. Can I help you with something?
No, sir. I'll figure it out. It's okay, thank you.
Again, that word is spelled EU, which comes from the word good. Prax, which comes from the word practice. And Sophi, or Sophia, which means wisdom. And what it is a word coined by a gentleman named Paul Kurtz, who is called the father of modern humanism, or what we call secular humanism. It is the basis of the, or shall we call it the foundation? Let me rephrase that. It is nearly synonymous with what is known today as the science of morality. Now, you can actually look this up in encyclopedias, science or morality. But I can assure you, whether you're a religionist, a Christian, or not, what it seeks to do is to do away with what we know today as the Golden Rule, which is really the only basis that we've known for 2,000 years to be our benchmark for how we determine what is just in a just society.
And not only that, they also have vaccines out. You can go look it up. Pentagon leaked the God gene to take that little bit that's left in our society out as well, to make us to where we would fall into what he is speaking of way easier if they were to implement that.
You cannot have a perfect slave society unless you can breed out critical thinking.
Which Liz Iserby talks about that in her book, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. She was high up in the educational part of the government under Ronald Reagan. She stole a bunch of documents. That would be a good book to go read about that.
The other thing too is we need to take a hard look at public education in this country. It was actually founded by the father of American public school system, was a gentleman by the name of Horace Mann, M-A-N-N. If you look him up, he was a hardcore socialist. And I'm telling you, even since those years during World War II, where people like Eric Blair, aka George Orwell, and the mentor for people like Marshall McLuhan, the one who coined the terms global village and the medium is the message. Some of his mentors were involved in that same program to come up with something called Basic English, quote unquote, Basic English. What it was something determined by the behaviorist to dumb down conquered populations.
Lots of people say that the English language is a curse.
The idea was to bring it, to actually boil it down to only using 850 words. So all your big media, except for proper names, they hew to this line, 850 words, Basic English. And so whether it's a newspaper, your television, your mainstream radio, even in the public school systems today, colleges and universities, it's all been dumbed down. You can see how the modern education system under the socialists, the progressives, the do-gooder progressives, have essentially dumbed down the American people, far beyond whatever policy is at the administration or the executive level.
All they've taught you to do is put beans in a jar and make it to where all you know how to do, because you were not taught how to critically think, is pull those beans back out of the jar. And those beans is what that they implemented into you and you know, made you study and take these tests over. And in colleges today, you can see how they don't want your opinion about anything. It's always about the opinion that the teacher wants. And that's why it's so dangerous when you hear about these, you know, people wanting to make it where the teachers get paid based upon the test scores. Well, that sounds good on the face of it, but when you look into it, what are these tests that the teachers are going to be giving?
The thing to remember about socialism is this: whether we call it today's flavor among the think tanks and the academics, and it's known as communitarianism, which basically combines capitalism, communism, and crony capitalism with corporatism. It's pure socialism.
There's somebody asking a question. They want to know how Ron Paul can deliver us from these oppressions and what are the steps he must take.
It begins with single individuals educating themselves and asking themselves how it is they view the world and how they expect the world to view them, and vice versa. It is a quid pro quo arrangement. Now, what I would advocate for any young person to investigate today is I would advocate them to look into agorism, also called agorism, Agorism. Look up the guy that coined the word. His name was Konkin, Edward Konkin III, and he also coined the term counter-economics. Look at that, because what does he advocate for? He advocates for free speech, free association, free markets, free enterprise, and short of that, you do not have freedom. If democracy is to remain in America, because frankly the communitarians, just like the people in their white papers from the Club of Rome back in the 60s, they knew eventually they were going to get rid of democracy. And that's what we have today. We have rigged elections. It's not democracy. It's an exercise in futility. These elections are rigged. These polls are rigged.
You can see that in all the fraud, how I forget what major news, dinosaur corporation it was, but they had only had 1% of the votes and they were already saying that Romney had won.
It's a fraud. It's a fraud. Ron Paul has much more grassroots support than any candidate in the field, Barack Obama included.
What is agorism?
Agorism is a political philosophy, but I recommend that the individual define it for themselves. Read how the person who coined that ism is a school of thought, and then decide if it works for you. That's what agorism is.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it. I'll
that's
check
useful.
out your deal. I really liked it. It gave me some new information. I'm always down for new information. You said a lot of stuff that I had no clue
Go
about.
to the website on the card, and I'm Larkin, Texas. My program is called Just an American. You'll go to my program notes pages, and you'll see the links that I collected 1 hour in advance of every broadcast. And you'll see a lot of very useful links. I wrote the Dallas for Ron Paul blog. I was the writer.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Let's go over here and see what these women got to say. Hey, I heard you trying to promote something. I'm streaming live. I still have 45 viewers. Would you like to say anything?
Oh, no.
No, nothing
really
at all?
It's too long and I'm too tired.
This guy.
Yeah.
Anthony or John?
Hey, I'm still streaming live. I still got 46 viewers. Is there anything you can share with us?
Well, regarding the
Anything you want to talk about, sir?
well, we had about 2,800 seats here in this in the memorial, and probably around 3,000 people. So it's standing room only. The local group here in DFW, we've been signing people up to be delegates, and last time I heard we had 750, 800 people sign up to be delegates. It's probably around 1,000 now, so things are looking really good here in Texas. We got 54, 55 national delegates coming from Texas, so we're working on getting every single one of them. So step-by-step process. Each county is a little different here in Texas, but it's looking good. We're going to keep trying.
What do you have to say about how certain places, because of the hogwash about the census and them redoing everything, how you understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
Yeah, the redistricting here in Texas, we originally had our primary set, I believe it was in February or March, and because we did redistricting here in Texas, for those who don't know, and a 3-judge panel down in San Antonio said, oh, well, your redistricting violates certain federal laws, so they ended up bringing it all the way to the Supreme Court, and that delayed the primary and pushed it all the way to May 29th. Because of that, generally in Texas, you have your primary, and the night of the primary, everybody comes back to where they voted and have a precinct convention, which is a little caucus where they elect delegates to go on to their district conventions and county conventions.
One moment, stop right there. I need to restart. I'm almost